Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, and in today's video, I will be giving you book recommendations that you could add to your winter TBR slash your TBR in general. I love all these books that I'm going to show you, although some of them you probably have heard of a lot, but I just thought they are my favorites. I'm just going to emphasize them even more. And some of them maybe you haven't heard or you've heard, but you haven't had like the urge to pick it up. Maybe I can convince you today. So yeah, let's get into the 10 books you could add to your TBR. The first book I have is for someone who loves a whimsical tale. And I think in general, you don't really understand what's going on, but you have such a fun time. And it's just so atmospheric. It's so whimsical. It's so like visual in a way because the writing style is so good. It is The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. I love Erin Morgenstern's books. I love The Star Lizzie and I love The Night Circus. So the book is about a circus that only opens at night. I know, wow. But it is very whimsical, like I said so many times already, but it really is like very whimsy. And if you know like circus, obviously it's very like that. And this though has like such a fever dream feeling to it. You don't really know what's happening. All you know is that you are having such a fun time and it's just in this like illusion, love, tragedy, everything. I think honestly, if you are looking for something that is very fantasy-esque and very wintry and cozy, definitely pick this one up. I adore this book. Moving on to the next one is one of the romantasy books that I absolutely adore, and it's probably my god tier. It's Fourth Wing. I know. Another person talking about Fourth Wing. I know. I mean, this is, if you haven't picked this one up, this is a sign for you to pick it up. I know a lot of people love this and do not love Iron Flame. I can say I love Iron Flame. I have yet to read Onyx Storm. I am in the middle of it and I am scared. Okay, I had a short intermission. I don't know where I was, but I know I was talking about Fourth Wing. I mean, this is just a sign. If you have not read it, please read it because it is that good, I think. And it's not just about the romance. It's more about like our main character's connection to everything and the world building and the magic system and the fantasy world. And in addition to that, it's a good romance. So definitely pick this one up if you are looking for an epic fantasy. I wouldn't say it's like crazy epic, but it is like, I love the things that we are doing, the things that we're dealing with. I think it's very interesting. And obviously the romance is a bonus, because I do love romance books. So yeah. Moving on to the next book is a book that I don't think I talk about enough. It is If We Were Villains by ML Rio. I know ML Rio came out with a new book recently called Hot Wax. I have not read it, but I do want to pick it up very soon. If you love dark academia, pick this one up. I have 2 books in this category that are dark academia. If you love the like school setting and how like people are so obsessed with studying, I feel like there is such a interesting air around academic people where they are so obsessed. They live and breathe like whatever it is that they're studying. And obviously in this book we are following a group of classmates, I say, and then they literally live and breathe Shakespeare. Do not let that deter you, because I know nothing about Shakespeare, but they literally in every single conversation that they have, they quote Macbeth, they quote anything Shakespeare's written, which I feel like that's just so interesting that you're so obsessed with something that you live and breathe it. So yeah, pretty much we're following this group of characters and one guy is essentially pretty mean, and then he died. Oh, he got killed, got murdered by someone. And so we're trying to figure out who, in our main character's point of view, which is Oliver. Yeah, really adored this book. This is one of my first dark academia books. So it has like a special place in my heart. Moving on to another dark academia book is Babel by R.F. Kuang. I have not read a lot of dark academia, but I think the second dark academia book that I read after If We Were Villains is Babel. And I think I figured out that I do love dark academia genre. So Babel is it. It's so good. It's so epic. And the character building so interesting, the world building so interesting, and it is like historical as well. So it is very interesting how R.F. Kuang puts like the historical realism to it and twisting it in some sort of way. So it was definitely a very intriguing read. And if you have not read this, I know a lot of people talk so much about this book. Definitely pick this up because there is a reason why people love this so much, because it was that good. Okay, going back to whimsical books, I have here Once Upon a Broken Heart by Stephanie Garber. She released a new book. I think it's called The Alchemy of Secrets. I still have not read it, but what I do know is the Once Upon a Broken Heart trilogy is just so good. I do have the rest of the series as well, which is A Curse for True Love and Spectacular. It's not so pretty because they're like different heights. I need to somehow sell this too and then get it in like smaller size eventually. But this book, we are pretty much in a very whimsical world. Our main character has pink hair. We live in a fairy tale. And honestly, the ending of the second book's cliffhanger was so insane that I think I literally binged 3 books in 2 days or in 1.5 days, because I was glued to the books. And I know there's a thing called 24-hour readathon, but it was an accidental 24-hour readathon. But yeah, it was so good. So good. And if you are looking for something whimsy, pick up The Night Circus. And if you want something whimsical with like romance being the forefront of it, then definitely get Once Upon a Broken Heart, because I just love that book. I love the world. It's like fever dreamish. It's also so visual. You can imagine like all the things that are happening, all like this, because there is like this one stand, or like this, I wouldn't say it's a festival, but there is, maybe I was thinking of Caraval actually. No, we are in like a festival kind of thing. It is Once Upon a Broken Heart. Each stand had like their own interesting item that they sell, which is so interesting, and I love the idea of that. And it's just so interesting, the magic system and the world in itself. So, and of course, our main character, Evangeline and Jax. I mean, I love Jax so much. I think it's like top 10 book boyfriends of all time. Moving on to the next book I adore with all my heart is The Invisible Life of Ada LaRue. Look at how tabbed it is. I don't think it's annotated. I think it's just tabbed. Everything. I feel like every single page you can find a quotable line from this book. We are following our main character, Addie. She is pretty much immortal because she struck a bargain with this devil, and she has lived for, I think, 300 years. And then all of a sudden, in her 300 years of life, okay, before we go into that, the magic system in itself is so interesting because she cannot leave a trace because of the bargain that she made with the devil. So anything she touches, anything she did, any impression that she made to anyone is forgotten by the end of the day. So it is sad, but also interesting to see how it plays out. And obviously, after 300 years, she meets Henry, and their lives pretty much start to intertwine. And then all of a sudden, Henry remembers her. And then obviously things start to go bad because now they have to pay, or Addie has to pay for the consequences. And yeah, I think it's so interesting going back to the 1700s whenever she lived, where it's like, obviously everything was so backward and everything was so like olden days, let's just say it like that. And now we are following them in New York, in Manhattan, when everything is so modern. And I feel like it's just so interesting. And I love that in this 300 years, she can make history throughout someone, that she made an impression enough that they are inspired by something. They don't remember that it's Addie, but she leaves her imprints everywhere. And it's like 300 years worth of imprints. And I love, and I absolutely adore this book. This is definitely in my God tier book collections, so to say. It is so good. I still think about this book sometimes. It is so heartbreaking. Pick this one up. And I love V.E. Schwab. And if you have read anything by V.E. Schwab, you know her writing style is so good. So please do me a favor and pick this one up. I know a lot of people either love it or hate it because there is nothing happening here. We are just getting to know Addie in the 300 years that she lived. So I do love a slow-paced book. I do love a slow burn book. So I have no problem in eating this one up. Moving on to the next one is another book that people talked about so much. I won't get into it that much, but it is the Throne of Glass series. Where do I even begin? I read the whole 8 books, was it? yeah, 8 books of this series. Absolutely love it. I know people keep saying like this is better than Akatar. I think in hindsight it is better than Akatar. But Akatar is my first fantasy romantasy book of like ever. That's why I'm partial to that because it's my first one. So I am very connected, or it has like a personal meaning to it, and that's like the book that literally got me into fantasy. So yeah, I mean, obviously I read like Percy Jackson back in the day. I read some other fantasy like children's books back in the day, but as an adult, I think Akatar is definitely what solidified my love for the fantasy genre. So I don't know what to tell you about this other than you will have such an amazing time. It will be heartbreaking, it'll be heartfelt, it'll be heartwarming, it'll be hard work. Yeah, it's crazy what our main characters go through. And I just adore them. I love, 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 love this book. So let's move on to our next 2 books. It is fiction genre, I think. The next book I have is The Book Thief by Marcus Zusak. I read this year. I was reading it for a friend. One of my friend's favorite book is The Book Thief, and I was thinking like I could annotate the book and give it as a gift for her. I did that and absolutely fell in love with the book. This is historical fiction. We are following our main character, Liesel, in 1939 Germany. So we are in the middle of the World War and in Germany, and we're following this 9-year-old. And we just see everything in the point of view of the 9-year-old. And I just love the story of this. It is heartbreaking, and it is just like a different story placed in the World War. Obviously, this is fictional, but it is based on true story of some sort. So I do love this. This is heartbreaking. I cried so many times in this book. Not that I'm a book crier, but this book just is so sad. It's not like A Little Life where it's a tearjerker kind of book. You just feel with them because you know the history so well already. It's the World Wars. Just to see it in a point of view of a 9-year-old is definitely so different and so in a way eye-opening because they are so tiny they don't understand, but they do understand, and it's like, I don't know. I just love it. The next book I have is one of my favorite fiction book of all time, and I don't know if a lot of people talk about this. I know a lot of people talk about her other books. It is Carrie Soto is Back by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I know a lot of people talk about the 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, and that book is good, but I don't think anything will top the Carrie Soto is Back when it comes to that, like, I think it's called the Hollywood series. I'm not sure what it's called, the series. It's a 4-book series. It's The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, Malibu Rising, Carrie Soto is Back, and I think there's one more. Oh, and then Daisy Jones and the Six. Although Daisy Jones and the Six was really good, but I think my favorite out of the 4 is definitely Carrie Soto is Back. We're following Carrie, who is a tennis player, the number 1 tennis player, and she's about to get outmatched or outrank by the newcomers, so to say. So she comes back to make sure like, hey, I'm still number 1. And the thing is, she is not a very lovable character, but we see like the pain and everything that she went through from whenever she was young all the way to now. And it's just so heartfelt, heartwarming to read, and also like to see how some of her characters from her trauma develops and how it destroys her, how it unfolds pretty much in her life. And to just see that so like raw, real, and so just like, it feels like I know Carrie now, and it feels like Carrie Soto is such a real character. And I think that applies to all Taylor Jenkins Reid's books, because I feel like all the 4 books that I read from her is very real in a way. I feel like they could exist somewhere in Hollywood. Oh, it is such an impressive thing to achieve by by Taylor Jenkins Reid, because it's not easy to like convince someone that they're real. This one, I absolutely don't need any convincing. It's just so good, and it's just so interesting. I know nothing about tennis, and I'm not that interested about tennis generally, but I do learn lots of things about tennis here. So if you don't know anything about tennis, do not let that deter you, because it is quite interesting. So yeah, moving on to the last book though. This book is, I think, honestly, at this point, probably my favorite book of all time. It is one of the first books I read when it comes to contemporary romance. So it is Love in Other Words by Christina Lauren. And I think this is probably their masterpiece. I love this book so much. I read this book 3 times already. And I think I want to reread it again this year, which I already reread this book. But the thing is, this is probably the only contemporary romance books that I think almost on the daily basis, not on the daily basis, but I would say like once a week at least. The fact that I read this in 2023 and still love it after 2 rereads, I think it says something. And if you want to get into the romance genre, please pick this one up. And I think you will be convinced of the romance genre because it's so good. But pretty much we're following Macy and Elliot. The thing is, I do not love a second chance romance, right? But this is a second chance romance love. Probably the only second chance romance love I love. It's probably the only second chance romance book I love. We're following Macy and Elliot, like I said. They are childhood best friends. Something happened. Now we are following like a double timeline now and then. So then whenever we're following them falling in love, and now whenever we see them rekindle their love. It is so much more than that. And look at how I tap this, okay? I will make it a mission every year to read this book, and I always have an itch to reread this book anyway, so it's not even a task. But yeah, I do love it. So if you are looking for a genre change, if you don't read romance, pick this one up because it is honestly so good. But yeah, those are the 10 books that I have over here. They're probably one of my favorite books of all time. Some of my favorite books of all times. And I thought I could give you some book recs because I don't think I give a lot of book recs. So I thought maybe it's time to just give a little bit of book recs. And these are like 10 books I do adore and I do love. And I hope that whenever you guys pick it up, that you guys love it as much as I do, or that you guys enjoy it. And if you guys have read it, I hope you guys have the same feeling as I do towards these books. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you can get any recommendations from this list. And yeah, I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day and an amazing holiday season. And I will catch you in my next one. Goodbye.